All right, and we are live. Welcome, brothers, to another show. Today we have my brother here, Kevin, Teddy Waffle. Was it Tarver, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how's everything going with you, brother?
Life is good at home, man. It's all good, man. We just grinding out here, um,
Mhm.
in Cali. Just bringing that New York mentality everywhere we go, man. Just to kind of take over as much as we can.
Yeah, man,
But
I hear that.
everything's good, man. Can't complain, brother. Can't complain at all.
Okay. Well, brother, I appreciate you coming on to Money Talk Tuesdays. I know we had a hell of a show last time, but you had to go, so we didn't get to really finish up, your portion of the show, which was was it better for brothers to invest in stocks or Bitcoin? I know you're very opinionated on that subject. Tell us what you think about Bitcoin just overall, real quick.
I look at Bitcoin really as an opportunity.
Hmm.
Um, I look at it as if you're coming in as an investor to flip a couple of dollars. To make some money. Um, I think it's a great opportunity, man. I think if you pick your spots in Bitcoin, like any other opportunity, any other stock or indice or currency,
Hmm.
um, you'll be able to make a lot of money and be very profitable. The only issues I have with Bitcoin or any of the coins is when they kind of tie this false sense of reality or this um, kind of like this seller's mentality of this currency that's going to change the world when in fact I don't believe it's going to do that. I don't have a problem with guys buying coins. I have Bitcoin, I have Ethereum, I have tons of coins in my Coinbase wallet. I
Okay.
made it was a good investment at the time, right?
Hmm.
So from that perspective, yeah, if you want to invest in coins, do it, man. And that's really where I was coming from. But on the flip side of that, what I don't like seeing, and shout out to the brother that was on last week, was when these guys start showing these graphics about how much money Bitcoin's made over the years, and if we really, for real traders that really trade every day, like myself and like a couple other brothers that I know, who they've become millionaires. I haven't touched that yet, but they know forex market, the binary option market, the stock market moves so much money in a day that it eclipses Bitcoin a
Hmm.
hundred times over. I mean, and I see
Hmm.
Todd saying he said I'm tripping, but
Uh-huh.
you do the numbers, man. I see the comments, brother. Numbers, man. The forex market alone, bro. The movement in the forex market eclipsed Bitcoin, tenfold, man. And if you don't believe me, um, you know, uh, do the numbers. Don't believe me. Don't take what I say for word. Go do your research. I was watching, your live before we came on live. I was on the page and I was watching. I missed it, but I was watching your announcement when you say you moved to Colombia and you was
Hmm.
gonna be out there for a while. And you was brothers was giving you love, and you was talking about that mindset about brothers that when they travel out the country, you find brothers with that different type of mindset. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Exactly.
You talked about how these brothers can manage their money a little bit better, make sensible decisions, not rash with their income, invest their money. And for some guys, they just have that, good 9 to 5 like I did. I worked in IT up
Hmm.
until this year, and I had a 9 to 5 that was paying a good salary, and I had money, I had cars, I had my own crib, I had all this stuff, and I wasn't happy. You know what I'm saying? And I think guys, there's a lot of guys like us out there that have that mentality. Now I flipped from then to now. I have a wife and a kid, and I've changed my mindset as far as that aspect. But the entrepreneurship that came from traveling
Hmm.
really sparked me to get to the point I am now, man. Charles Tyler, like yourself, he inspired his YouTube page, but Charles Tyler showing me about trading gave me hope to say, yo, I could live in another country full time one day like you do. And that's kind of the hope that trading gives to a lot of dudes. I know Bitcoin. Um, I know people could say that, oh, it's the wave of the future and all that stuff. And I just want guys to really understand that what happens when you guys, people are saying that.
So
Yeah,
real quick,
yeah.
you're basically saying that it's okay, you know, Bitcoin is cool if you in it for like a quick flip and not a long-term
Yeah,
investment.
I
Okay.
would say for a quick flip, it's a good move if you catch it on the way up. But I kind of explain that to guys too and let them understand what I'm saying. And I'm not bashing Bitcoin. I'm not bashing Ethereum, none of the coins. Like I said, they're great investments. But you got to understand, like, again, who controls these things, right? When you have the first time Bitcoin shot up, right, without any regulation, the government went batshit crazy, right? They were like, what's going on? How is this happening? And it became this huge phenomenon where everybody was talking about Bitcoin, and then it crashed, and the people lost money and all that stuff, right? And then you have this floating idea of, oh, it's going to come back, it's going to come back. But you all know, if you're a trader and you invest and you know how to read charts and all that stuff, you know it's going to come back eventually, right? So for guys to say, like, crypto is, as the brother's saying, 500 billion and all that. For me as an investor, entrepreneur, a trader, right? When I trade currencies, I have a country behind that currency. When you trade stocks like Nike, Macy's, any of these brands, energy companies, they have a product, a service, something behind that to secure that price structure and that price point within the market. With Bitcoin, I don't see that. Just because somebody puts a graphic in front of me or says it's the market cap of this, when some guys don't even know what market caps are. Like a lot of us, a lot of these guys that are telling you Bitcoin is going to shoot up can't read a chart, can't tell you what a trend is, can't tell you what a moving average is, can't tell you what support and resistance is. All right. So what I'm saying is, for guys that are coming on to this, yes, it's a great investment, but you got to do your homework first, man. You got to put the time in and invest into. Honestly, if you're going to do this long term, this is for the long term guys. If you saying it's going to ride this wave, you got to come to somebody like me who's a logical trader and say, this is why I believe this is going to make a move or do this. Until you do that, it's going to be a quick flip. But let me say one thing before I say that. Again,
Okay.
once Bitcoin became regulated, meaning that you had to pay taxes on gains and loss, right? That meant that the United States federal government somehow, some way, is able to manipulate the price point. Why? Because once it becomes regulated, that means big banks can come in and trade Bitcoin on their own without any remorse for whoever the little guy is, right? So what happens in currency, what happens in stocks, what happens in indices is, and I don't know if guys know this, these huge banks, Bear Stearns, Chase, Citigroup, they all take what we call sell positions in Forex. They take positions at price points and they force the market to drop down at certain price points. And as you see with Bitcoin, once it struck its last high, it's following that same price structure. So what that's telling me is the market is now being dictated. Bitcoin market, as far as price, is being dictated by big banks because now it's regulated. The banks can trade against it if they want to. And I'm not saying that the banks are buying Bitcoin and selling them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they're taking sell positions in currency markets and they are pushing that price point down to make a profit. It happens every day. That's why all these companies have caps on their prices. All right. They get to certain price points and they change direction. That's because these banks take positions and buy and sell because banks want to make money whether a stock goes up or comes down, right? I mean, sorry, not come down, but whether a currency goes up or down, they want to make money. They want to be in a position to be making money. And that's what Forex is. You make money whether your pips are going up, calls, or your inputs or calls. So I'm just trying to let guys know, to me anyway, and again, don't take my word for it, man. Do your own research. But the game is rigged. As soon as somebody tells me something is regulated by the U.S. government, the game is rigged, bro. So that's pretty much what it is. That's my point. You know what I mean?
Okay, and let me ask you this: do you think it's good that new cryptos are introduced into the market? Because I don't know if you noticed, but the guy, one of the founders of Apple, just came out with their own cryptocurrency. I think it's Steve Wozniak or something like that.
Yeah,
and they
Steve.
raised like $950 million. Is that a good thing for Bitcoin when it's consistently different cryptocurrencies coming into the markets?
Well, it really is just going to be a money grab for market share at that point, right?
Right,
So
exactly.
you're looking at when a company, was the first or second biggest company, but I guess the second biggest company besides, or I don't know if they're tied neck and neck with Amazon now. I think they're maybe slightly below them or slightly ahead of them. But when arguably the second biggest company in the world makes its own coin, just like they make their own credit card now, just like it's a market share grab. It's for advertisement. It's to grab that market share. They know they have loyal buyers of their product. I'm talking about Apple now, that will say, hey, I'll go on and buy a coin. But again, think about it from there. You're buying an Apple coin. That coin is backed by what? Or it has an inherent philosophy and mindset. When you think of that coin, you're thinking of what? Apple. Apple is a huge profitable company. So of course it would make no sense. It would make excellent sense to say, okay, I'm going to buy this coin. So right now it's showing me that they're treating these coins sort of like stock options. You know what I mean? So they're giving them like offerings right now. So, I mean, it makes sense. Like I said, if you're an investor and you can't buy Apple stock, and I believe Apple stock just split a couple months ago, right? And they were at almost $400 a share. They split. They got to like one something. And, when they split, it drops in price. It gives more opportunities. But now you have a coin coming out, right? So what's that coin going to do? It's going to give more opportunities to people. But now because of the pretense of Bitcoin and being this kind of rebel against corporate greed and the whole where its birthplace was New York City and Occupy Wall Street, having that mantra, having that mindset attached to it, people are going to say, oh yeah, well, I want to buy some Apple coin. Why wouldn't I? So now not only are you getting the up and coming youth, but now you got the people who are actually buying the product, which most of the times are parents, grandparents, uncles, aunties, buying their kids, their nephews, these MacBook Pros, these iPads, these iPhones. Let's be real. Let's be realistic. These kids don't have the money to buy that unless they have a business. But now you're still tapping into the middle class. You're getting more money out of their pockets because now you're offering them a product, you're giving them stock options, and now you're giving them a coin. So that's an excellent move on Apple's part to control the market share and kind of seize that opportunity based on just their company reputation. So I mean, again, it's. But to answer your question, whether it's good or bad, time will tell. I don't have a definitive answer on that because, of course, when you're investing, you're thinking saturation is bad for the market. But like I said, Bitcoin, what people think Bitcoin is, and the reputation that Bitcoin has with the youth is different from the reputation that it has with the older middle class people. So you got people, you got moms and grandmoms up there, and they get 50s, 60s, and they don't understand Bitcoin. They don't understand. I'm not putting my information in here, but if they got an iPhone and they got Apple Pay, and it pops up and says buy Apple coin, click this. How easy is that to do? And you feel like you accomplished. I got some Apple coin. Now you cool, right? So time will tell, man. Time will tell. Will it affect it right now? I don't think so. Like I said, it'll grab some of that market share, but I think Bitcoin's on its way down anyway. So,
okay, I got a comment by Todd Mike. He says they're all moving into crypto. I'm assuming the banks. They are just moving into the position so they can better off. I don't know what that is. Transitions happen. He's saying Bitcoin is the long-term play. And of course, you disagree with that.
Yeah, I think Bitcoin is not the long-term play. I think, and then after doing some research after last week's, I think Ethereum is. I apologize for saying that wrong. I think that's going to be more so a long-term play.
Ethereum, okay.
Ethereum. I think that's going to be more so a long-term play because it's already being adopted by payment processors. What people don't understand in the background of the whole world, it's not the banks that actually control the world, right? It's the payment processors like PayPal and I can't remember. But yeah, I know what I'm talking about.
But
These
I know like MasterCard controls a lot too.
Mastercards and all that stuff. They're the ones that actually are the gatekeepers because they control and make money off the transactions. And the only way I know this is because I own an ATM machine and the my company that I go through with, they don't charge me anything. They just take the transaction fees. So if you're in a position to where you control how money gets moved around in this country, pretty much the world, those are the gatekeepers. So those are the people that's why I say I don't think Bitcoin is gonna be the savior of the future. I think those other coins that if they get in line with those payment processors like PayPal and all those big guys, they're going to be the wave of the future. But Bitcoin is just going to be bought and sold like any other commodity industry. I mean, it's going to be up and down like anything else. But it's going to be opportunities for people to make money. That's what it is. But I don't think it's a long-term play. I think it's going to be, it's the first one out there, first one back in. So it's going to be around. It's going to be the original, of course. But as we know, especially in 2020, man, originals are getting put out of pasture. So the new kids is coming up every day. So.
And Akon has a cryptocurrency coming out as well. Do you think that brothers could have their own crypto as well, like Akon or something? You think we can create our own crypto for maybe Black America or something like that?
I think we can, but that's a whole nother story.
Right.
It's easy. It's not as hard as people think to come up with their own white paper and have their own coin. I think it comes down to us as Black Americans is trust, man. Do you trust in your brother to have a coin? You know what I mean? There's been a lot of people that have gotten scammed with these coins. I've heard horror stories. I've lost money with coins and trying to jump on those coins, doing other things. Nothing to put a bad taste in my mouth, but again, I'm an investor. So if I see an opportunity and I have the capital to invest, I'm going to take that opportunity. And I've lost money too, and that happens. I've lost money and made money a couple of different ways. But what I'm saying to guys is, if we do come up with a coin for ourselves, man, and us as Black African Americans, just African Americans in this country, we have the ability to raise our coin higher than Bitcoin will ever be, just because of our market share, just because of how much money we spend. If we just exchange with ourselves, even if we took, if we used our own coin to exchange, currency or money, as much as we did with Cash App or Zelle that we're doing right now, we would eclipse Bitcoin in the value. So that comes down to, again, man, it just comes down to us trusting within ourselves and having someone that's trustworthy to run the actual coin. You know what I mean? I think that's where we have that kind of disconnect because we don't trust each other, especially with no money, man. We tough with that. But I think guys, I think there's a lot of guys that are coming on board with that. But I think also, man, we have to get out of the mindset of bragging about things. Like with you, brother, yeah, I think we have to get out of the mindset of trying to outdo each other or compete with each other over things that don't really matter. You know what I mean? Like, it don't matter what shirt I got on. It don't matter what car I drive. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, I came to Cali and I was with Mark Lyles and he drove a S550, but we mobbed out in an old in a bum ass expedition that overheated. It's not about the car you drive; it's the mindset you got to have. You know what I'm saying? And I think we get caught up in that competition of trying to outdo each other, and we miss out on coming together and building it. You know what I mean? For example, like, and I hate to continue to spill the same things, but from Jewish people to Afghans to our Asians, of course, they come in, they help each other out, especially Mexicans now. And even here in California, I see a ton of it. Mexicans, the same way with Puerto Ricans and Dominicans in the Bronx. You come here, you got a place to stay, you got a job, you grind out, you get what you need to get, and you go back and ask the people for help. So we don't have that mindset yet. And I think we're slowly trying to get to it. And I think, we trying to make it happen, but we got to stop with the with the competing against ourselves, and it starts like with us, man. It starts with us, and it's and unfortunately, I'm not gonna get into it, but it starts with us, and it starts with these females too, man. Because a lot of time, like I tell people, bro, Jay Chappelle said it best. A man's testing life is a female. A woman's testing life is things. So women always want things. You know what I'm saying? They want nice things. What he said: if I could fuck a chick in a cardboard house and not have to buy a real house, I would. Right. So
Right.
I think us as travelers, we have that mindset, right? Because when I was in Brazil and DR, and you know what I mean, I was under the bare bones. And I was cool. All I needed was my laptop, an internet connection, and an AC. If I was in DR or Brazil, you know what I mean, and I was living life and making money and doing the things I needed to do. But as we get older and we find women and they want those things, us as men start to become super hyper, especially black men, hyper competitive. What we need to be, just come together. Just forget competing against each other. Let's just compete against the world because we'll take over. But that's a different story, man.
I got a real good question here by Delano Music. He says, "How do you start the process of owning an ATM?"
Oh yeah, no problem, man. Like I said, I've told the story a million times. I don't mind saying it again, man. It's a simple process, and I'll tell you guys exactly how I got into it if Aaron let me. So this is actually a true story. I was on my way to Brazil. I was about 3 months out. I had no passport. I had never left the country. My first trip was to the DR, but I was getting ready for my Brazil visa and all that stuff. And I was downtown. I had to get my birth certificate. So in New York, you got to go downtown to the state building, get your birth certificate, all that. So I was getting a passport picture. I just stepped to the shop and I seen a young girl changing out an ATM machine. Like she was just on the knee, taking the money out, putting new money in or whatever she was doing. And I was like, yo, how you do that? And she was like, yo, just Google ATM machines. You'll find a job. She was a filler. She said, I'm a filler. All I do is fill up ATM machines with cash. So I'm thinking like, all right, that can't be that hard. I got some capital. I could start. I could do that easy. So got on Google. I think at the time I had about 4,000 to play with, and I was like, let me see what I can get done. I already had an LLC. No, sorry, I had a sole proprietorship already out of Jersey that I was trying to make something happen with, and so I found a vendor. No, so first thing I did was I went on YouTube. I found this little BS like community, they wanted to call it, where you invest into their community and you get a percentage back. And I felt like that wasn't worth my time or my energy to do that. So I said I could do this myself. So I went on, I found a payment processor. That was the first thing. So I have a payment processor. His name is Ron. He's a good dude. And I said, look, I'm trying to get into the game. I want to get an ATM machine. I need a location. Do you have any of those things? Or can you show me what do I need to do? So he told me, he said, no, I'm sorry. I asked him, I said, are you looking for a filler? That's what I said. Are you looking for a filler? I'm in the New York area. I have a car. I can go to any place. I could be there every day, anytime, whatever. It doesn't matter. So he said, yeah, I need a filler in Yonkers. I'm sorry, Westchester County. So I was like, boom, my mom's live up there. I can mob up there, spend the night, go fill the ATM machine because I was living in Harlem at the time. And I said, yeah, it's no problem. So I met up with him. So the process is this. I'm gonna give you the process. So first, so be a filler, you have to go through find a payment processor. If you guys need that information, I can give it to Aaron on my payment processor. The processor, what he does is he gives you some paperwork. You have to have your LLC. You have to have a business bank account. You have to have those two things. He's going to do a background check to make sure you have not been convicted of any money laundering charges, anything like that, any felony money laundering. You can't get an ATM. They're not going to give it to you. You know what I'm saying? So once you do that, he'll ask you, okay, how much money do you want to put into this ATM machine? We usually, we'll usually do. He'll tell you something like, oh, we put $3,000 into a machine. I told him, nah, I got 2,000. I could put in there. When it run out, I'll fill it up. So this is how it works, guys. He takes you to the ATM machine location. ATM machine, I'm gonna give you the whole game too. ATM machine, you get a key, and then you open the key up. You get a combination. No, I'm sorry, let me talk about it. You get a code. You put the ATM machine into filler mode. Open the key up. You get a combination lock. You get the combination. You open it up. You got a cassette. You put as many bills in there. So I put 100 bill, 120s in there. 120s. Put that in there. Boom, boom. I punch in how many 20s I put in. I close everything up. ATM is good to go. Now what happens is the processor. What they do is, let's say Aaron goes to my ATM. Right, he takes out $40 plus the $2 fee. Right, so the $2. So that comes out of his bank account. He gets the $40, but $42 is debited out. So the $40 then goes to my processor. So that $40 goes through my processor. My processor gives fees to send it to my bank. So let's say Aaron has Wells Fargo. I got Citibank. So the money comes out of Citibank. My processor processes it. He sends it to my. It comes out of Wells Fargo. He processes it, sends it to my Citibank account. I get it the next day as ACH comes into my account, right? So then those $2, he collects those $2. So what we did in the beginning was I was getting 75 cents off those $2 for every transaction. That's how I got paid. So we did 100 transactions, 100 times 75 cents. That's how much I made, right? If you're looking at it as far as time to dollar, I filled up a machine pretty much every 10 days. And it took me approximately, once I got good at it, no longer than 10 minutes. Like the ride was 20 minutes. I did it 10 minutes. I was out of there. So let's say 30 minutes, and I will be making $100 a month, right? It's a small little, it's like a little side thing, but I figure I was getting my bones in and I was learning the process and all that. So like I said, get back to it. So Aaron's $40 comes out of his account, goes to my processor, it ends up in my account the next day. So the next day I go on my Citibank business account, I see $40 was entered in my account. Cool. So what I do is I let that rock until 10 days is up. They give you an app. On my app, it tells you how much money is left in the ATM machine. When it's getting low, sends you an alert. So I go to my bank, Citibank, and this was kind of the tough part too, because they're gonna ask you a million questions in the bank. You can't get around it. They're gonna be nosy. You're taking out $2,000 in 20s. They're gonna be like, "What are you doing?" They're gonna ask you every time the same question. It don't matter if you've seen the same teller. I used to see the same teller every week, every 10 days, and he asked me the same question: "What are you doing with this money?" Or pretty much trying to find out what I was doing with the money. All I would tell him is, "Hey, that's all I need." I said, "Hey, no problem. Hey, I got a business. That's it. I got a business. I need change." That's what I would tell him, and I would go on and fill my stuff up.
They do that at the banks when you take out large sums of money,
especially if you look like us and you come in with money. So eventually, so I did that for about 4 months, and I made probably around $500. But like I said, it wasn't too bad for me because I felt like I was learning, and it was income coming into my bank account, and I could justify that as profit, and I could possibly go get lending or whatever, right? So I was like, okay, cool, I'm playing the game. The processor comes back to me. He says, "Look, the guy who owns the ATM machine is retiring. He wants to get rid of the machine. Do you want to buy the machine?"
Wow.
So I said, "Okay, how much is he selling the machine for?" He says he'll give it to you for $1,200. I said, "Look, I've already been putting money in it." I said, "I'll give him $800, and let's see where he goes from that." We ended up around like $950. Because the machine wasn't a new machine, it was an old machine. So I felt like I could get a new machine for $1,200. So I'm not gonna pay you $1,200 if your machine is old. You know what I'm saying? So we ended up at like about $950. I was like, cool. I went back into this. So it was in a bagel shop. It still is in a bagel shop, but it was in a bagel shop. And I renegotiated the deal with the bagel shop owner. I said how much. He was only getting like 35 cents. It was something ridiculous. So now that I own the whole machine and I was the filler, I was technically getting the entire $2. So I went back in. I said, "Look, I'll give you $1 off the machine." I said, "But in 6 months, I'm gonna raise the price of the ATM machine to like $225 or $250. Is that okay with you?"
Okay, hold on.
So she said,
"Hold on, real quick, Kev.
Yeah, go ahead.
You were saying $1 per day, $1 per month.
Oh, I'm sorry, $1 per transaction. I apologize.
Okay, $1 per. That's pretty good. Okay,
$1 per transaction. Yeah. So if you get 100 transactions, so because she was paying for, she paid for electricity and internet. So we had they had a DSL line, but whatever. So I said, okay, I'll give you $1, and she was happy about that because they was only getting she said I think $40 a month for 50. So I bumped them up a little bit. But I told her, I said, look, in 6 months, I'm gonna raise the ATM price to $250. So she said she don't got a problem with that. She'll let her people know. Now, what made this a good deal for me was they didn't take cards in the shop, in her bagel shop, only cash. So the only way you could pay was cash, or you gotta go use that ATM machine. So, that's a very good thing. Yeah. So I found a filler for 30. I found a filler for 50 cents, and then I was making 50 cents. And then 6 months later, I bumped that up to $1. Now, 5 years later, we're at $3. She still makes her dollar. She still makes her $1. I make $1.25, and I give the rest to the filler. Just because I got a good filler. I don't have to do nothing. He changes the tape. He does all that stuff. Now, the added cost behind that is I pay how much I pay? $850 for insurance. So if anything happens to the ATM, it burns down, somebody steals it, whatever's in the ATM and the ATM itself, I get reimbursed back. Okay. So I figured that's a good deal, and that's what I did. I just passive income. Now, I've had the ATM machine now for 5 years now. I paid $950 for it. I've made back probably twice what I invested into it, and I don't have any time. I just get a check. I get an ACH every month for anywhere from $130 to $150. Comes in on the 15th. I don't have to do nothing. My payment processor pays everybody. So that's part of the deal with the payment processor. He does ACH to my filler, to my business owner, and to myself, and everybody's happy. Now, and that's pretty much what it is. So for guys looking to come in, I would say start with a capital of around 3,000. If you're going to fill it yourself, that's a great opportunity. If you're not going to fill it yourself, you're just going to buy the ATM, I would say stick between 1,200 to 1,800. You don't need no frills. You don't need a whole bunch of lights and all that. If you want to brand it and market, put branding on it, you can do that. Just get some posters with some stickies, slap it on the side, or if you want, if you know for a fact that you're the place you're putting it in, they're getting high traffic, you can actually go to I think Google Analytics. Don't quote me on that. You can do research, but they'll be able to give you the amount of people, amount of foot traffic within certain areas. If you can kind of digitize that and get that to a marketing agency or a marketing person and say, hey, I got 300 eyes on my ATM machine every day, let's strike a deal. I'm thinking about doing that too. What I mean? I just haven't had the time to do it at this point, but that's another stream of income, because now you can have the marketing team come in, somebody else coming again and say, hey, slap a sticker on here to market. Now you got a walking, talking marketing tool, like billboard, right? Also, you own that ATM. So I own my ATM machine. I can take my ATM machine anywhere in the entire United States. Anywhere there's a location, I can take it. So that's also enticement. So it's not that hard to get into. Just be patient with it. You got to learn how to manage money, of course. You got to be, I'm missing a word, but you just got to be patient with your money, man, because you're going to see money coming in and out. And, you tempted to be like, oh, man, I need $100 real quick. Let me go dip it to the ATM stash. You just got to be patient, man. You got to separate them accounts and all that stuff as best you can. But it's worth it in the long run. It's some great passive income. And that's pretty much what I did, man. From that, I was actually gonna live in DR for a while, until I met the OG Mark Lyles, and we did another business opportunity out here in Cali with the vans.
Right, I remember that.
And I can explain that too. That was another great opportunity as well, if guys want to hear that. But it's tons of opportunities that guys can get into, and make something happen, man. It's just taking your time and doing the research.
Okay, I got another question for you, brother. By Todd Maik. He's asked, will you consider investing in a Bitcoin ATM?
I would love to invest in a Bitcoin ATM. If I would have to figure out how that would work, if I'm getting paid off transactions, if I'm getting paid off of, if I'm actually exchanging Bitcoin myself, meaning am I giving cash out for Bitcoin? I would have to dig into that and find out the actual price structure for Bitcoin payment processors, how much they want, the whole gambit. How much the ATM is going to cost me, how much is it going to be to run it, how much profit am I looking at every month from those transactions. But if the numbers make sense, I would definitely get one, and I'm looking to get one, especially out in California. There's a ton of opportunities for that. So.
Man, you got a lot of hustles going on, man. That's what's up, brother.
Oh man, you got to, man. You got to, bro. It's once you travel, man. I'm telling you, man. It's all from traveling, bro. Before I traveled, I thought I was living a good life, man. I thought it was, I thought I had it made, bro. You know what I mean? Until I touched down at DR, and I'm like, what the hell? Oh hell, man. I gotta come back here, bro.
I be trying to tell brothers, man. I be trying to tell them, like,
I'm telling you, man. And that 2 weeks, man, 2 weeks for the 9 to 5. Trust me, I was on that 9 to 5 grind for a long time, man. That 2 weeks ain't enough, man. That 2 weeks is not enough, bro.
Yeah, traveling has to be a lifestyle, bro.
Bro, I actually had my first time in Brazil. I told some cats this story. I quit my job. Well, I didn't quit. They let me go. But before I got hired, yeah, bro. Nah, I'll tell you this. It's a company. I don't want to say their name. They're kind of a big company, but nah, it's all good, fucking man. I say I work for this company called Trustpilot. You guys can look them up. They do like the internet reviews. So I was doing IT for them, and when I got hired, I told them, I said, look, I'm going to Brazil in November for 3 weeks. This is my first time in Brazil too. I'm going for 3 weeks in Brazil. I'm gonna be, I'm letting y'all know before y'all hire me. I already bought my ticket, I already got my ticket. I already put my reservations in. My shit is booked. Like, don't turn it back. So they were like, okay, cool. And everything was cool. This was about maybe 2 months before the trip. Everything was cool, man. And then, about 2 weeks before, I'm online looking at, little shirts to buy, some shorts. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get, I'm trying to get ready. Fat man fresh and all that. I'm ready. And my boss was like, yo, you can't do that on your laptop. I'm like, what you mean? He's like, yeah, you can't shop on your laptop. So I'm like, I work in IT, so we know everything technical, bandwidth, and he's talking about the bandwidth. It's gonna slow the bandwidth down. So I'm like, come on, bro. Like, who you talking to? Like, come on. Right. Come on, bro. Like, so I said, all right, cool. No problem. So I waited till my lunch break. Went in the little break room we had, eating my lunch. I'm still doing my thing, looking at some Nike shirts. I'm like, yeah, all right. Fam comes, this my boy. He comes sit right next to me, like right here. I'm like, what did you do? Oh, you still shopping? It's my lunch break, fam. Oh, no, you can't do the bandwidth. I'm like, what? So, long story short, my big boss is in another country. Basically, it's the company is ran by another big company, and they put me on a conference call with her and all that, and it was like, yeah, we're gonna put you on I don't know, some type of probation or some shit like that. I was like, for what? He's like, yeah, you're abusing internet speed. Now, mind you, bro, I had cats that I could see across the room. They was streaming soccer games. Like, I could see it. Like, I'm like, yo, why you ain't saying nothing to them? Why you ain't saying it to me? So, you know how that shit go, man. It was just, so they was like, yeah, if you're on probation, you can't take any long time off and all that. So I was like, oh, that's what this is about. Okay, so why ain't just tell me in the beginning? We could have worked something else out. I could have started later, maybe did something else. And they were like, yeah, we can't let you, we can't allow you to leave and all that. Like, nah, like. So I was like, yo, what's that going? I said, yeah, is somebody gonna give me $2,500? I said, y'all gonna give me $2,500? It's no problem. But I told y'all from the jump. So they was like, all right, we're gonna talk about it. And the next day I came, bro. I came. I had another conference call, and I was like, "So what's up? What we gonna do?" Right? and it was like, well, you know, we decided to part ways because we
Damn.
feel like, yo, dead ass, right? So mind you, I was trading on my laptop, and the cat that I used to work with was a white cat. He traded forex on the low too. I called him one day on the charts, like, I said, "You trade forex?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "You trade?" I was like, "Yeah." So mind you, I had my charts. I had a lot of. I was doing my thing. I take my laptop home and I was doing my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I came back to my desk. Fam took my laptop, everything, bro. So I had to go find dude. They was like, "Yo, we gotta walk out the building." I was like, "Nah. I gotta find the dude that got my laptop, man. Because in IT, what we can do in IT is change your password and we can log in as you.
Right.
So he could just change my password, log in as me, and I have my charts open. You know what I mean? So I was like, "Yo, fam, I need my laptop." So he's like, "Nah, I can't give it to you." I said, "Look, we gonna wipe this out right now in front of me, or what we gonna do?" So, we ended up settling that up, and he was like, "I understand, whatever." And then I dipped out. They gave me like $1,500 severance. It was like, "Yo, we're gonna give you $1,500. Peace. I'm out, B. I'm saying I'm going." Hey, Frank, give me 1 second, bro. Give me 1 second. I put this call.
Right.
1 second.
You good? You good? You know what? Hold on. Yeah, you muted. You know what's funny? He told that story because I had something very similar happen to me as well. The first time I went to Brazil, I was working part time with the post office, and I think I had got into it with some white lady. It was just something real, like it wasn't that serious. I think because I always get tired of people calling me, asking me dumb questions and shit, and I don't care who it is. It could be supervisors, whatever. And I think she called me and she asked me a dumbass question. I was like, "Yo, don't call my phone a time of night. Out of respect, don't call my house or don't call my cell phone." And they tried to suspend me for that or something. And I was like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to Brazil regardless. But the key is never tell, if you work a 9 to 5, don't tell anybody. Don't tell your friends. Don't tell anybody that you're going overseas, man. If it's one thing that made co-workers, friends, and family extremely envious, extremely jealous, it's going to be traveling. And it's for a reason, okay? Because they know either they can't do it, they can't financially do it. For whatever reason, they can't travel. A lot of people are married. They want to travel, but they don't want to travel with their husband or their wives or whatnot. Traveling gets everybody envious. Telling that person you're going to take a trip overseas for a month, they would get more angry at that than you pulling up to a car or pulling up with a brand new car because they know you got to work hard to pay the car note. So they get that. But people get very envious of experience that they can't partake in. You know what I'm saying? Like traveling, you will have it adds extra years to your life, okay? And you will be surprised who's envious of your travels. That's why you just got to keep things kind of close to heart, especially when you're a brother, because they feel like brothers shouldn't be able to travel,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
I said, when I first went to Brazil, I had to get a visa. This is when Brazil required a visa.
Yeah.
And it was a sister. She was asking me, she was just like, "Oh, you going to Brazil?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to Brazil." She's like, "Oh, you and your wife going to have a great time in Brazil." I'm sitting here like, "Oh, I'm going by myself." And she was like, why would you go all the way out there by yourself? Are you traveling with friends? Or I'm like, "No, I'm going out there solo. I got a couple of cats out there." And she's like, "Oh, so you going out there to mess with all those women?" And I'm like, "This is very unprofessional. I'm just getting a visa. This is a corporate setting. You asking me about women in Brazil, So a lot of people know. And it's funny. The funny thing about this thing, Kev, is everybody else been traveling for years, right? Black women, white guys. As soon as brothers started trying to get in the game of traveling, you start traveling more, you start to see all these little issues. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I say, man, I tell nobody I'm traveling. I tell maybe my family where I'm at the airport. Just if I go to DR, I don't tell nobody I'm going to DR because it's right there.
It's real. It's real, man. I got stories from cats. I'm not gonna say no names, man, but I got stories of cats that was at the airport, man. They family coming. I'm coming to get you. You can't go to Brazil. Like, what I mean? It's crazy, but man, I don't know if cats know. I get a lot of DMs about that one video when Charles was talking to the sisters on the beach, the first beach party. And I tell guys the story about that, man. That was the epic. That was crazy. And I would tell you, man, It was the first time, I think it was the first beach party I went to, 2015. And we was in the spot, we was at Mavs. And that's what Charles used to hold court at, right? So we was in there. And I had came from my spot in the middle of the day, and I was like, Cats was heated. It was like, yo, Charles, why you did that? Nah, 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 nah. So I pulled Charles to I was like, Charles, what happened, man? What's going on? He's like, yeah, we ran into some African American females out here. It was about
I remember that.
just 6 of them, man.
Yeah, I did like a little video, right?
Yeah, we did the video. So he came out later with some other cat. I ain't gonna say his name, talking some yang man. But that wasn't really the. I'm gonna give you the real talk, New York, as I was referred to back in my younger days. But Charles, they pulled up at Mavs, and they was like, Charles was like, yo, come to the beach party tomorrow. There's gonna be some brothers there. We just chilling, we gonna have a good time, have some drinks. We're gonna chill on the beach. So everybody like, yo, Charles, what you doing? You wilding, like, because Charles. The thing about Charles, man, he didn't hate African American women. He just said we had options. That's all he said. He said, bro, you got options. You don't got to deal with whatever you're dealing with. You got the option to go and see the world and find out what your options are. You know what I mean? Whether that be DR, Brazil, Colombia, Thailand, wherever, man, you got options, right? So I'm in the spot. I'm kind of heated myself. I'm like, man, I ain't come out here for this, man. But the mindset of Charles was content. Let's get this content. You know what I mean? And I think the sisters understood the type of dudes that was out there. The same way you say, like, the cats that's out there in Brazil, for one, you got to get a visa, so you can't have no felonies. You got to have a job. You got to have money to travel. Brazil was not, at those times, I think it was only 3-1. So you had to have dollars on you to make that move out there. And I think they understood that. They understood the caliber of brothers that was out there. And they was choosing, bro. They was choosing. They came to the beach party and they was out there, and they was out there hunting. And they linked up. I mean, they went after cats. I'm gonna put it to you like that, bro. It wasn't no all that. We was talking. It was going back and forth. I was dead. I was dead twisted. I ain't gonna. Caffeine has got me. I was dead twisted.
Oh,
I was yo.
Dude, I blacked out my first night in Brazil, so I already know what the Caprians can do.
Bro, I had no clue. I had no clue. I'm just was lemonades. It just caught up to my ass quick, bro. But they had a discussion, man, and it was cool. It was all love. I think a few brothers, smashed and all that. They did their thing, and this is what it is, man. They recognize what it was, but I think the biggest thing I saw out of that whole situation was the respect that the females was giving cats out there in Brazil was nothing like I ever seen in the States, bro. Like the way they was coming at dudes, so humble, so like feminine, like really like it was like some old school shit, bro. It wasn't no craziness. They wasn't talking reckless. Wasn't popping gums, snapping their fingers. You know what I mean? You can't wear that hot ass wig in Copacabana Beach. That should have burned your forehead.
Oh, bro. Come on.
Crying. You can't do that on Copa. Nah, you have to equator, shorty. You can't do that. So, they had to act right, man. And cats saw that, and it was love. It was all love, bro. You know what I mean? But I think the thing that's the thing that kind of took me to that place. Like, if we could be like this outside the States, like, you know what I mean? I think really it comes back to, women being us, men and women, especially African Americans, being so competitive, bro. So competitive. And like when we go to DR, we go to Brazil, there's no need for us to be competitive because we all getting 10s, 9s, 8s, 11s, 7s, 6s, whatever you all got the opportunity to make that happen. And you don't gotta be like the flashiest cat.
You don't have to throw money in the air.
Nah, you don't got hell. And I made that mistake in DR. I'm gonna be the first one to say that.
Oh man, not you, Ken.
I wasn't. No, I was a little twisted, but I did do that. But I had good dudes around me to be like, "Yo, you wildin', fam. Stop that bullshit." You know what I'm saying? That's a difference. The difference is you gotta have good dudes around you to be like to school you to the game.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, you'll be doing that dumb, funny shit, and excuse my language. And you don't got cats to really, like I said, school you to the game, bro, and listen to the OGs when they talk, man. Like I was in my first time in DR, was at the Europa. A lot of cats don't like it because it's a little further down, but that's where the old heads was at. And every morning they come down for breakfast. They let that one go. You know what I mean? Get them some coffee and a newspaper, and they start talking, giving that game out. Okay, are you DR? They going to Brazil next? Okay. Well, just soak it up.
Mm-hmm.
Just shut up and soak it up. So take all of that. You know what I mean? And that was one of the biggest things, man. That I scooped up, man, was the game, bro. And when you travel, you get that good game, man. The old heads, they know if you out here, you ain't BSing. You about your business. You know what I'm saying? You about making that money because you can afford to come on this trip. So they gonna break you off that, that good that good knowledge, man. But it's up to you to soak it up. And I took that experience from DR. When I had that bad experience, I had to kick a bitch out the crib and shit in DR. But you take that and you roll with that to the next spot, man. You know what I mean? So,
Real talk, real talk. Chris Trips, he says, unfortunately, I had the hardest time getting brothers to travel. It's like pulling teeth. For the ones I have taken over the years, it's changed their life and the outlook on women in the States. That's real talk. Real talk.
that's real talk. You ain't gonna never get nobody from the hood to go with you.
Exactly.
And the part is when you're sitting up in a spot and you got 25 bad joints around you, and like your man, your day one cat you grew up with would go bananas in here with you. You got to take that L, but you got to bring back, you got to bring it back to the when I came home, and this is real talk. When I came home, every trip, bro, I linked up with my boys and I told them what it is, and I got positive and negative.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let the negative stop you, bro. That's them living their life. Like, go ahead, live your life, bro. I'm gonna live mine, but don't wait for nobody. Like,
that's why the best thing is traveling solo sometimes, because I've had so many cats cancel on me at the very last minute. I had cats, I'm thinking they on the way to the airport or they on the way, they in the country, and they like, hey man, I couldn't make it. I'm like, damn, bro, you done booked the room, you done bought the flight, you done pre-planned it, you done worked overtime, and all of a sudden you can't make it. Like,
bro,
that's why I try not to even make it
down there. Catch me in the airport.
I tell brothers, hey, this the dates I'm going. That's all you need to know from me.
Yeah.
Because brothers will sit there and they'll bait you. They'll sit there and talk. Hey, yeah, man, I'm coming, man. What's the dates again, bro? Oh yeah, I'm gonna be out there, man. I'm like, bro, you bought your ticket yet? Nah, I'm gonna get it though, bro. I'm like, all right, bro. Well, And then when you get back from your trip, they be like, man, I can't believe you left me, dog. That's messed up, Ferris.
Nah.
How you gonna leave me, dog? Every time you go to Brazil, you just, man, come on, bro. You don't want me to get no pretty girls too? You think I'm gonna get all the pretty girls? I'm like, bro, I told you, I'm not your secretary. I'm not gonna be reminded every day.
Hold your hand, fam.
Yeah, I ain't gonna hold your hand, bro. Now, when you come overseas with me, I got you.
Yeah.
But other than that, bro, like.
But I tell you one thing though, too, man. The women be watching hard, bro. They be watching you.
Yeah.
I used to do my little little post when you're in the airport, like going to, you on Facebook, you do your little going to Brazil. Kevin is at the LaGuardia airport, going to Rio de Janeiro. Man, my text messages going off, bro. Where you going? When you coming back? Blah, blah, blah. All this, like, chicks that ain't never talked to you a day in your life. Like, bros that you ain't never DM'd you. You know them, but they ain't never talked to you, and they see you in that airport. Like, we out, bro. I used to get so many DMs when I was in Brazil from chicks. Like, when you coming back? This, that, and the third. I miss you. And I'm like, I'm the same fat dude that you knew from 2 weeks ago. Like, how you talking about you miss me and all that now? Like,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, shorty. Like, let's keep it 100. And you know, it is what it is. But everybody watching, bro. You know, family and all that stuff. So, but just don't let that stop you, man. If you want to go somewhere and see something, go, man. You know, don't be scared. Brazil is a huge company. Is a huge country. But bro, just go, man. Get your feet wet. You know what I'm saying? Start in Copa. Go to Salvador Bahia. Like, you know, I got so many good. Shout out to Steve Sullivan. Shout out to the urban legend Mark Brooks.
Right.
I call it the urban legend. Like, shout out to Cat. These are cats I used to know. Like, well, Steven Sullivan I used to beef with. I came down to Salvador, man. You know, we squashed all that. And we was drinking till like 3 o'clock in the morning, man. He had us out there twisted. So the dudes you meet, man, you know, some cats just take that chance, bro. You know, if you're going out to DR for this first time and you going to the S, to the whatever cats want to call it, I mean, get your feet wet, man. That is what it is. Like, that's what I did, you know. And before I even, like, cats used to run up on me in the street, like, yo, in DR, like, yo, I love your lives, you mad funny, da da da. I'm like, bro, I love what you doing, man. You out here living. Like, you out here doing your thing, bro. Like, so just stay humble and just go, man. I'm telling you, there's brothers out there that's gonna be giving you the game, man. Wherever you go, you're gonna see one on the plane, gonna see another brother on the plane, you're gonna see another brother in the airport. They're gonna look at it, get that head nod. What's going on, fam? Yeah, my man.
You already know.
That line for the passport. All you gotta do is, yo, fam, where you at tonight? Where you going tonight? Oh, I'm over here. I'm gonna be over. Yo, let me get your WhatsApp. And you got cats down there, you gonna link up. So don't think you gotta bring your man down there and then some cats be acting funny when they leave the country. You know, some of your cats you knew for years, they cool, but when they leave the country, you know, they may be into some shit you ain't into. You know, they ain't no judgment. Get it how you live, but you know, you find those things out, man. But no, don't wait for nobody, man. You know, there's so many opportunities.
I got a question here from Rod Lewis Jr. He says, I need thoughts on this Airbnb IPO tomorrow. What you think about that, Kev?
I think it's a good move for Airbnb right now because stay-at-home orders. So to give a little, I've been looking at that too now. Give a little background on give a little background on what Airbnb's been doing. They've been very profitable this last year, even in the pandemic, because a lot of people have been doing these kind of away staycations, right? Where they're when the pandemic first hit really hard, let's say April, May, June, into those summer months, a lot of people were like renting these houses in different places just to get somewhere. So they do it for like a month. They'll do it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 months, 90 days, 90-day spots. So that really kept Airbnb very profitable this year. So I think the initial offering, I would wait maybe like a week to see what the price settles at. And then I would probably jump in on that and take that into the next year and see what it does for the next 52 weeks. But like I said, Airbnb has been very profitable even through the pandemic. I mean, they still have one of the greatest, service base in the world. They don't own anything, all they have is a staff. So they don't own any houses. They don't have to really market because everybody already knows them. Yeah. So really, they're just a payment processor in a messaging system that they just show houses. So I think it's a very good opportunity. Like I said, I would wait about a week to see where the dust settles. They don't have really any competition. I think HomeAway or a couple of the small websites maybe, but nobody competes with Airbnb on that level. So I think it's a good opportunity, man. Like I said, I'll give it a week and see what that offering is. And if it's something that you could jump into, I would definitely jump into it, especially seeing what it's done during the pandemic.
Most definitely. Well, Kev, I appreciate you coming on the show. Money Talk Tuesdays, brother.
Yes, sir.
Nothing but real information, great information for the travel community, bro. We talked about stocks. We talked about Bitcoin. We talked about your travels, and that's what we all here for, man. I really appreciate you coming on the show. Brothers, I got a really, really good interview with a brother by the name of Pete Batuku, and Forex millionaire, bro. And he's dropping a lot of information, a lot of game. You can go to his school and you can get his services. I'm dropping the interview, the first 2 parts, early in the morning when I get the thumbnails back. So make sure you tune in for those interviews tomorrow. All right, Kev.
Brother, real quick, man. I want to let you know first, man. I'm bringing this cannabis industry to light, man. We got to get more brothers into this industry, especially on the cultivation side. So
we gotta do a whole show about that. We can do one next week if you want, bro. I dabbled in the industry back in the day. You're doing it for real,
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I'm just that'd be like I said, guys. That's the industry that, especially Black people, we've been affected the most by, right? Weed, and even including myself. I've been in some bad situations with weed, and it hasn't really affected my life that much, but it was an experience that I never forget. But at the same time, we really need to start looking at get into this industry on the cultivation growing side, and really trying to put our footprint on, man. It's at a point right now in California where it's the highest selling crop in the whole state, man. I mean, I think at one point it doubled in sales compared to grapes and wine. I think it's tripled or quadrupled at this point. It's pretty much taken over the whole, I would say, West Coast from Cali to Oregon. And it's only moving closer and closer to the East Coast. I'm sure for the guys who follow it, they know the new bill that came out by the federal government. They're going to decriminalize cannabis for the entire federal government. So that means a lot of opportunities for guys in the cannabis area, from things like transportation, trucks, moving product. Now with it being federally legal, you can move it across state lines. But I mean, before we get into that, I'll let you know that it's still controlled by states. So if your state is not cannabis friendly, like a Texas, I think Utah,
Georgia,
some of those Midwestern states that's funny bunny out there. Don't try to jump in too quick, but it's an opportunity to really explore it, man, and really get into it. I've taken my opportunity to the max, hooked up with some good brothers. But yeah, man, it's something that you guys need to get into. Now, it's not. Is it gonna last forever? No, it's not. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, the big boys are coming. The tobacco company is coming. The tobacco company,
KFC,
Depots, Lowe's, Marlboro,
KFC involved.
KFC. I mean, everybody, man, from seeds to they're trying to put at some point they're gonna be in gas stations. You know what I mean? So, but what that means is that when the production goes up, the quality comes down. So what I tell people is, man, if you're really into it, if you really love it, if you're not just, it's a good time and all that, but from a business perspective, is it something that you want to do? Start from the ground up, start understanding the branding, start understanding the process, what this stuff is made of, how it's made, how it's grown, who makes the money, what are the taxes like, things of that nature. Because the federal government is going to make their money. Come hell or high water, they're going to tax the ish out of it. So it's up to you to kind of get in there. And there's still enough money to do well. But when the dust settles, it's not enough. I think as far as like owners, Black owners in cannabis companies, I think 2 Chainz has his. I think Ludacris has something. Or Wiz has his own strain with the KK and stuff like that. And then you got Al Harrington with Viola, which Viola is a dope product in itself. But that's only like maybe 1% of the market share in the cannabis industry. So we got to come out of that stigma of it being negative and really start looking at it as being, the next opportunity. And when I say that, every opportunity should be a building block for you guys, man. looking. Don't think that one thing is gonna make you a millionaire now in these days, man. Back in the day, maybe, if you owned a store or something like that, you had one store and you work hard, you may touch $1 million. But nowadays, it gotta be building blocks, man. So, you take cannabis, you get into real estate, or you get into buying. Like for me, honestly, my plan is, I wanna buy some spots in DR, man. I want to buy some income property in DR, some of those villas out there that y'all cats is running out there to spend nights. You know what I mean? I want to get into that game. So if I work cannabis and then I jump into that, that gives me income, right? And then I could come back to the States and do something too, whatever. So just keeping your options open. You know what I mean, guys? If you got guys out there, I'm sorry if I'm rambling, but
no. I was thinking I'm gonna hook you up with my brother Cardell.
Oh yeah, I would definitely love to have. I would love to have a conversation with those guys, man. Give me a reason to go down there, man. But yeah, man. Like for guys right now, man. If I don't know, like Arizona, you can get multifamily. You can get apartment complexes for $300,000, like 8-unit apartment complexes. Rochester, New York, of course, it's a little bit of a at low income areas, but you can get duplexes and triplexes for 70,000, 80,000. So these are the mindsets that I'm trying to incorporate with guys and work with guys. I got guys that do Facebook on automation, all that type of stuff. So these are things that I want to be starting hopefully from cannabis, investing in cannabis, be able to spread my umbrella out to those different things and kind of take on those different things. But as always, you just gotta be mindful of, what it's gonna take to get there. Do the numbers, redo the numbers, make sure it works out for you, and you take it for what it is, man. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's what's up, man. Hey, we're gonna do a whole show about that. Whenever you.
Oh yeah, man.
A whole show.
I'll give you the blueprint, man. It's treacherous, bro. It's treacherous.
Yeah, because you've been at it for a while now.
Yeah, I've been at it for about 5 years now, man. So we just getting to the point where we getting some good traction. I ain't gonna go into too much detail, but we get to a point where we get into where we want to be, and I got to this point by people watching me, and that's real talk. Like cats saw me on my grind up until now, and they came at me like, "Yo, we want to do a deal with you. We know what you've been up to. We know we've been watching you, and we know what your work ethic is, and we know that you really about it. You're not gonna bullshit us. We want to put some money up and work with you." So I said, "All right, I'm gonna put my money up. You put your money up. Let's do something and take it to the next level." And then I'm learning from those guys as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, but we're gonna definitely have a show about it, man. I'm gonna give y'all the good game and explain everything to y'all. There's like 4 or 5 new states out there that's opening up. So I would suggest y'all start looking into what the regulations and rules are for opening up a shop, or maybe get your family together. You don't gotta smoke weed to open up a shop. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to, bro. You don't gotta be a stoner. You don't gotta be smoking, mad, all this. You don't gotta do that. You can be an entrepreneur, but I'm talking to the Black entrepreneurs. We need y'all in this space because like everybody trying to make they shop into the next Apple store. Nah, man, we're not doing that. We want a good experience, bro. So, but we're gonna have to talk about that, man.
That's what's up. Well, once again, brother, appreciate you coming on the show, and we're gonna definitely do that show whenever you're available, brother, about the cannabis.
Yeah, I got something in store for you, brother. So,
all right, peace, bro.
Peace, bro.
All right.